Page 51. A warrior of light always keeps his heart free of any feelings of hatred. When he goes into battle, he remembers what Christ said, "Love your enemies," and he obeys. But he knows that the act of forgiveness does not mean that he must accept everything. A warrior cannot bow his head, for if he did, he would lose sight of the horizon of his dreams. He accepts that his opponents are there to test his valor, his persistence, his ability to make decisions. They force him to fight for his dreams. It is the experience of battle that strengthens the warrior of light. Page 52. The warrior remembers the past. He knows about man's spiritual quest. He knows that his quest has been responsible for some of history's finest pages, but also some of history's worst chapters. Massacres, sacrifices, obscurantism. It was used for personal ends and has seen its ideas used to defend the most terrible of intentions. The warrior has heard people ask, "How am I to know that the path I am on is the right path?" And he has seen many people abandon their quest because they could not answer that question. The warrior has no doubts. He follows one infallible saying, "By their fruits you shall know them," said Jesus. And that is the rule he follows. And he never goes wrong. 53. The warrior of light knows the importance of intuition. In the midst of battle, he does not have time to think about the enemy's blows, and so he uses his instinct and obeys his angel. In times of peace, he deciphers the signs that God sends him. People say, "He's mad," or "He lives in a fantasy world," or even, "How can he possibly believe in such illogical things?" But the warrior knows that intuition is God's alphabet, and he continues listening to the wind and talking to the stars. Page 54. The warrior of light sits around a fire with his companions. They talk about his conquests, and any strangers who join the group are made welcome because everyone is proud of his life and of his good fight. The warrior speaks enthusiastically about the path. He tells how he resisted a particular challenge, or speaks of the solution he found to one especially difficult situation. When he tells stories, he invests his words with passion and romance. Sometimes he exaggerates a little. He remembers that at times his ancestors used to exaggerate too. That is why he does the same thing, but he never confuses pride with vanity, and he never believes his own exaggerations. Page 55. The warrior hears someone say, "I need to understand everything before I can make a decision. I want to have the freedom to change my mind." The warrior regards these words suspiciously. He too can enjoy that freedom, but this does not prevent him from taking on a commitment, even if he does not know quite why he does so. A warrior of light makes decisions. His soul is as free as the clouds in the sky, but he is committed to his dream. On his freely chosen path, he often has to get up earlier than he would like to, speak to people from whom he learns nothing, make certain sacrifices. His friends say, "You're not free." The warrior is free, but he knows that an open oven bakes no bread. Page 56. To engage in any activity, you need to know what you can expect. how to achieve your objective, and whether or not you're capable of carrying out the proposed task. Only a person who, suitably equipped, feels no desire for the results of conquest and yet remains absorbed in the struggle can truly say that he has renounced the fruits of victory. One can renounce the fruit, but that renunciation does not signal indifference to the results. The warrior of light listens with respect to Gandhi's strategy, and he remains unconvinced by those who, incapable of achieving any result at all, preach renunciation. The warrior of light pays attention to small things because they can severely hamper him. A thorn, however tiny, can cause the traveler to halt. A tiny, invisible cell can destroy a healthy organism. The memory of a past moment of fear allows cowardice to be reborn with each new morning. A fraction of a second opens the way for the enemy's fatal blow. The warrior is attentive to small things. Sometimes he is hard on himself, but he prefers to act on his way. The devil is in the details, says one of the tradition's old proverbs. Page 58. The warrior of light does not always have faith. There are moments when he believes in absolutely nothing, and he asks his heart, is all this effort really worth it? But his heart remains silent, and the warrior has to decide for himself. Then he looks for an example, and he remembers that Jesus went through something similar in order to inhabit the human conditions. Remove this cup from me, said Jesus. He too lost heart and courage, but he did not stop. The warrior of light continues, despite his lack of faith. He goes forward, and in the end, faith returns. Page 59. The warrior knows that no man is an island. He cannot fight alone. Whatever his plan, he depends on other people. He needs to discuss his strategy, to ask for help, and in moments of relaxation, to have someone with whom he can sit by the fire, someone he can regale with tales of battle. But he does not allow people to confuse this camaraderie with insecurity. He is transparent in his actions and secretive in his plans. A warrior of light dances with his companions, but does not place the responsibility for his actions on anyone else. Page 60. In the intervals between battles, the warrior rests. Often he spends whole days doing nothing, because that is what his heart demands. But his intuition remains alert. He does not commit the capital sin of sloth, because he knows where that can lead, to the warm and monotony of Sunday afternoons, when time simply passes. The warrior calls this peace of the cemetery. He remembers a passage from Revelation. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. A warrior rests and laughs, but he is always alert.